Hello, precious viewers. We're here again bringing you your favorite live Saturday show, Ask Pastor Sunday. Today, you're going to be asking Pastor Sunday every and any question about anything. So please get your family and your friends to be part of this wonderful show. And don't withhold those questions that have been bothering you for some time now, because Pastor is ready to answer all your questions. I'm so excited to bring you this show today. My name is Amara Mojoku. So let's get started. Yes. Hello, Pastor.
How are you today?
Very well, thank you. How are you today?
Yes, welcome back.
Thank you. How have you been?
Very good. I've been good. I've been busy on Facebook, trying to learning to do live streaming and things like that. Slichkom gromshe, mi slišim zdaj zgolo, slišim vykluši golo slištota.
And I realized that you've been reaching a lot of people on Facebook lately, you know, with this show and so many other stuff going on. How do you feel about that?
No, I don't feel anything. I hope they feel something.
I mean, you have been a blessing. So.
Yeah, you know, no. It's not about me. It's about him and about people that we're ministering to. So it's work for me. I'm just working.
Wow. What keeps you going every day?
I want to glorify the one that saved me and gave his life for me, and gave his, pour his blood, that I will be forgiven my sins. I realize how sinful I am and have been, and how weak I am, and how much I needed his mercy, and he came with his mercy to save me, and did that by giving his life. So, I've not done anything for him yet. Everything is still ahead.
Wow. Good to know. Precious viewers, so we are going to be starting with our first question for today. And so I'm excited. Let's get into this. Hi, Pastor. Please, what are the active roles believers have to play in LGBTQ?
What?
What are the active roles?
What is?
I think that's gay.
Gay agenda.
Yes.
What is the active role?
Yes, that believers have to play on LGBT.
We need to play more proactive role in loving them. We need to play more active role in showing them that Christians are not against them and that Christians love them. And then we need to reach out more actively, just like they are reaching out actively, to spread our message of love, redemption, and second chance. That's what we need to do. They are active, spreading their message of same-sex, and we should be active, spreading the message of forgiveness, love, and redemption to them as well.
And when you say loving them, what do you really mean? I mean, how far can we go with this love?
Letting them know that we receive them, that we accept them, and that if we could accept people with gay lifestyle and embrace them and love them as individuals, then they will be able to have a chance to interact with God and to be able to know who God is and to be able to feel and experience the love of God. But if we just want to love them from afar and tell them, repent, you change before you come, then they will never come. So I think we should accept them the way they are first, then show them love, and when they experience God's love, then that love changes them. But if we don't realize that is actually how God took us, because God loved us while we were yet sinners. He doesn't love people when they become righteous. He loves them while they are yet sinners. So what we don't want to behave that way, we Christians. We should love them while they are in their sins. It is that love that we show to them that activates something in their spirit, that activates the Spirit of God in their spirit and converts them to become believers.
Wow. So when you talk about loving these people, for example, is it proper to actually conduct a gay marriage in a church?
I've answered that question before.
No, you answered attending. I don't.
Okay.
Yeah, but conducting as a pastor or a church actually, conducting.
No, I don't think so. Okay. If you are a born-again church and a redeemed church, you shouldn't conduct gay marriages in church. I think you should accept gay people in church, but not their lifestyle in church. You should accept individuals and love individuals, But the reason why they come to church is to receive God's love, which eventually transforms them and their lifestyle into godly and Christian lifestyle. So we are accepting them to be accepted just to experience the love of God and be transformed by that power of God and love, God's love. So when they are accepted in the church, they would not need to stay in church and still be gay to the extent of doing gay marriage in church.
Wow. You know, a while ago, there was a story that actually went viral. You should have heard about it. It was about this couple who refused to actually bake cake for a gay couple. That's the business that they ran.
Yes.
Yes, and they were having issues with the government and all of that. Can you comment a bit on that? What do you have to say about if a Christian should find his or herself in that situation? Should they go ahead and bake the cake? Is that a way of loving, or just say, oh, I'm not going to do this? It's not.
I understand where that couple is coming from. I've been hearing that story, and nobody has ever asked me this question. So my own feeling about that situation has been the fact that I want to help those people if they have not paid their debt or the whatever fine they incurred as a result of their position. I want to help them pay that fine. That is my position. That's what I've been thinking. That I would have liked to help them pay that fine.
Wow.
And when God gives the opportunity, I would like to help them do that. But I hope they have dealt with that already. But now, asking this question directly to me, is it proper for them to have baked the cake or not? Yeah. I think it is not. The reason they didn't do it is probably because they feel it's not proper for them to have done, because their conscience has not allowed them to do it. Yeah. So it is not a matter of theology this time. It's a matter of personal belief and conviction. But, like I've said one time, something that is a sin to somebody might not be a sin to another. Another believer might not experience that kind of conviction that I'm not supposed to bake the cake. Now, another believer might bake the cake actually as a way of showing love for these people, and it will be proper. So we don't always look at action as what is right or wrong in Christianity. Sometimes, some actions are according to each and everybody's conscience. Just like the Bible says, some people might want to eat the meat that is sacrificed to idols. Why? Some people will feel convicted that no, I cannot eat the meat. But if it's going to be something of an offense, then I will not eat it. But but if it's not an offense to anybody, and I don't feel my conscience is not condemning me, some people will feel they are free to do it. So I don't feel. I think people are blowing out of proportion the action itself. Whereas I'm thinking that the action itself is not really what is sin or righteousness. It is actually about their personal walk with God and their conviction at that particular time.
Wow. I personally do have a problem with when people call someone gay. I think it's a level, just like I won't say you were aggressive, or someone comes to church and I say, oh, this is a drunk, you're an adulterer, or you were contentious, a thief, and all of that. So what do you think about this label? Is this something we should remove? Because I just feel that we just have this thing about, okay, he's gay, she's lesbian. Why are we defining people by their sin?
Yeah, I think when we label people by their lifestyle, especially by their sexuality, we are defining people by their sexuality. It's not the most pleasant of things. Just like if I lie or if I begin to do something wrong, I would not like people to label me by my weakness or by my sin. Every one of us has got one weakness or sin or the other. And for you to be labeled by that and to be called by that, that is a little bit too affrontal. That is like attacking somebody. And that's what brings about division and separation. We want to save these people. We want them to come to Christ. And we are labeling them. So we are pushing them away from the very same God we are trying to attract them to. And so I think it's a bad thing to just to be calling people name. Because even if someone is a gay person, apart from the fact that he's gay, he might be a good son to his parents. He might be a good brother or sister. He might be a good professional, a good worker. So why don't you call him an expert? Why don't you label him by the good things he has? Why are you labeling him by the things that the options or the society abhor about him?
Wow.
So it's not building bridge. It's it's separating.
Wow. I really love what you said when you said Christ, for example, loved us, first of all, even while we were yet sinners. So we don't try to change people and then love them. We love them and then the love changes them. That is really a very interesting one. I also want to know, do you think it's actually something proper to give a position to a gay person in church? For example, okay, we know this guy is gay. Is it good to make him a choir leader, a youth leader, or anything like that?
No, if a gay person is in church, first of all, he needs to just experience that God's love. And once he experiences God's love, he needs also to allow that God's love to transform him. It is only when the love of God has transformed himself successfully that we could give him a leadership position in church. But if he's a gay person and he has not experienced the redemptive power of God and the transformational power of God, it's not advisable for him to be occupying some leadership role, because he has not experienced that transformation and redemption. And what he has to communicate, a believer is supposed to communicate and pass across that redemption and that redemptive power. And if he has not experienced it, what is he going to pass across?
Wow. Okay, one more about that, Pastor. We live in a society where everybody wants to be politically correct.
Yes.
And most times when you say something is wrong, people are just going to like, oh, what do you mean is wrong? This is who I am. You're trying to judge me. And all that. What does it really mean to judge people? How do you really say, okay, I'm saying this is wrong because it is wrong. I'm not trying to judge you. I'm just pointing out what is right and what is wrong. So how do you draw the line between judging and pointing out what is good and what is,
Judging has to do with condemnation. When you judge, you condemn. When you judge, you put a label. When you judge, you kind of see yourself as a little bit better than the other person. When you judge, you kind of put the other person down a little bit. When you judge, you kind of try to teach the other person. I'm the righteous one. I'm the one that is upright. Let me tell you where you are and where you belong.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
Wow. Precious viewers, I hope you've been able to understand the difference between judging and actually pointing out what is right.
When you are pointing out what is right, then you don't have any of those positions. You come in the state of mind of humility. You actually see yourself on your knees. You bow down in your heart before the person, and in humility, tell him with an attitude to help him, that I want to help you. I'm just concerned about you, almost with a crying attitude, so that the person sees your brokenness and sees your humility, and that you are not trying to coach him or teach him or tell him that you are better than him. When that kind of attitude is demonstrated, it means that you are showing love, that you are more interested in the well-being of the person than in the things that you are trying to point out.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor. That's amazing. Okay, yes, this question, recently, there's a lot of things that have been happening in your beloved country, Nigeria. I mean, we know that you're a very good lover of your country. You love Nigeria so much, and your heart is after your country. You want to make sure that Nigeria is a better country, and you've been working and writing books towards that, and we really do appreciate that very much. But recently, there's been a lot of problems going on in Nigeria, both economically, and people are complaining. They are saying that the present president is not sure where he's going. He's not brought the budget out yet, and the country is just kind of in a mess. And also, in Enugu, there has been this issue of Fulani guys killing the locals in Enugu and all of that. And people are saying that pastors are not coming out to say anything about this. Nobody's commenting. Everybody has gone into their shell. I'm like, what do you have to say about what is really going on at this moment in Nigeria?
Yes, I personally saw an article that was written by someone who is, I could say, is my friend. He wrote an article and addressing that topic, and put the picture of so many pastors in Nigeria, and put mine as well, that I'm one of the people who supported and imposed this government upon Nigerians. And now, when things are not going well, especially with the Enugu massacre, that I've been quiet. Well, I want to remind him, I don't want to mention the name right now, that before Enugu massacre, there was Idatu, I think, in Benue State massacre as well, or Idatu, and then there was also the kidnapping and killing of people actually the kidnapping of the former presidential candidate from Ondo State, Falai or something, I think that's his name, Falai, yes. This was the secretary to the federal government, and that's western part of Nigeria. So this has happened in western part of Nigeria with involving the Fulani people. And the western Yorubas were saying, oh, if the government will not do anything about this, we are going to do something. But I was not commenting on that on purpose. So it's not just now that I did not comment on what happened in Enugu. When it happened in Yoruba mainland, I did not comment as well. When it happened in Benue, in Middle Belt, Idatu, they killed a lot of people, a whole village was wiped out. I did not comment as well on that. When it happened also with Enugu, why is it now that it's Enugu that I have to comment? So I did not comment. So now let's make it more comprehensive. So don't let the person that was talking just mentioning mainly is because after Enugu that it began to make this noise, because they want to make it a nationalistic problem. They want to make it a tribal problem, which we shouldn't. It's a national issue, but I would have commented on it if it had been a government orchestrated issue, if it had been a government orchestrated massacre or incident. But and I see some of the articles, people try to blame Buhari and because he is Fulani and the herdsmen are Fulani, and they are trying to make it as if it's one and trying to blame Buhari for what people of his tribe are doing. I think it's not fair. I think Buhari will not sit down there and be sending his, his Fulani herdsmen. He doesn't even know this Fulani herdsmen. I mean, it's very absolutely foolish to think Buhari is allowing his herdsmen to go and kill people everywhere, or that it's a condoning it, or he doesn't want to do anything about it. So I wait, first of all, when things like that happen, to see the reaction of the government. If I see that the reaction of the government is, prompt and is attempting to resolve the situation, they are doing their job. Why should I be condemning them or criticizing them when I see that they are reacting the way any government would have reacted? If they had not reacted, or if they had outrightly condoned it, then we could have spoken. But when my people, the Yorubas, were making noise about this, we are going to go out of Nigeria if the government doesn't do it. But the government is police. They are doing, they couldn't prevent it. Yes, it happened. But once it happened, they are reacting. When it happened in Benue, people were demonstrating as if it's government to blame. I think it is wise to choose your battles. I try to choose my battles. I don't just jump. I'm not an activist. I just jump into every wagon and, for example, the governor, I like the attitude of the governor of Enugu State. He went to the scene of the massacre and then went to see the president. They talk it over. He's not aggressive. He's not making noise. He's not accusing the government. He's not accusing Buhari. He's being a civil person. He knows that this is a tragic situation and it's a tragedy for all of Nigeria. It's what happened both in Enugu and Idaku and with Falai. Those are all tragedies. It happened in Lagos as well. With Fulani is killing people right in the heart of the Yoruba land in Lagos. But still, it's not. We cannot say it's government that is behind it. It's a national issue that needs to be addressed. And I heard and I read the address of the president. He said the police and the military should be brutal and not have pity or mercy on these people who are killing people like that, including Fulani herdsmen. So he even gave the decree to the government, to the force to go and deal with it. So what else can they do? So it's a tragic situation. We shouldn't make it political. It's a tragic situation, and the reason that is leading to that is not because they are Fulani or what. It's because of the failure of the government. and the failure of the government in providing what they call it, graceland for, you know, grazing field or graceland for grazing field land for these herdsmen and for the cattle. You know, and you know, in Europe, cattle don't go from one street to the other, or from one, you know, country north to the south, or from one city to the other. It's primitive. This is the way it was being done in 2,000 years ago. We don't have technology on how to rear cattle and cows. That is a disgrace for us as a nation. The biggest problem, the reason why we're having all these tragedies is because we are making our farmers, our, you know, cattle men or cattle rearers to be doing this business the way it was done 2,000, 4,000, 6,000 years ago, whereby, you know, in modern countries in Europe, you know, you have places for them where they graze, especially, and they don't need to even go out of their compound. And we have grass that is planted specially for those people to graze. They don't need to be going from one state to the other, causing all this tragedy. So that is what I would rather address, not, you know, the tragedy itself. The tragedy itself, people are already lost people. Let's see what we could do to help them. That is the way I would have liked to respond. Let's respond in giving help to the victims, and let government respond by giving help to the victims, and of course dealing with this, you know, the core of the problem, which is teaching these cattle rearers the new technology of how to rear cattle, and stopping them from moving about the country in the first place. That is what we need to address. And I think I'm going to write an article about the modern way of rearing cattle. We should even stop all that practices of letting cattle rear around the country from one place to the other. And it's about technology and knowledge and education. That is the way I would have approached it, rather than attacking governments.
Wow. The Enugu massacre was really a sad one. It's really a sad situation.
But there was another one that was bigger than that, which is the Benue massacre.
Wow. Yeah. But I think the Enugu one actually came out in social media more, so it was more...
No. The Benue one was bigger.
Wow.
Yeah, there was demonstration in London, in America, about the Benue one, in Abuja. Oh, yeah. Wow. Because it was all villages wiped out.
Wow. But, you know, a lot of people complain that our government, they are not really prompt in their response when things like this happen. And some people think that that shows a kind of like a critical attitude towards human life and the value for human life. What do you have to say about that? Do you think that Buhari's response to what was going on was prompt enough? Because I think that's one of the things that actually making people angry in the East. Like, this thing happened, and maybe after 24 hours or 48 hours, that's when you're coming to do a press release. We're talking about human lives. So what do you say about that?
Well, that is like crying after the milk has been spilled. You know, I don't know when the response actually came out, so I cannot judge accurately. Some people will say that, even though they might not even check to see, they might not when the response was. But, you know, I saw the response. I think the response was good enough. But again, let's focus on how to prevent such things happening. And the things that have happened, we will not return people's sons, people's husbands, but we need to think about those people. We need to care for them. And we need to look at, because Buhari that is traveling from one place to the other, he's not even, he's never expect, he doesn't even know what to expect, what will happen next time. But to be putting that on his head and making him responsible for it, you know, I think it looks like just witch hunting to me.
Wow, wow. Oh, God, it's just been lovely. It's just getting better. Pastor's heart and our hearts goes out to all the people who are victims, or who are brothers or sisters who have been attacked or affected in some area in the Enugu massacre. We pray that God keeps your family. Please remember to share this link and send your questions to pastor@sundayadelajablock.com. And also, please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sunday Adelaja Official, and Facebook, Pastor Sunday Adelaja. Like us on Facebook and also follow us. And then Twitter @pastor_official, and then Instagram @Sunday Adelaja. And also remember to register for mentorship program. Some of you are asking how you can be mentors, how Pastor can mentor you, and how you can be his mentees. So what you have to do is go to www.sundayadelajablock.com/mentorship, and there you become a mentee of Pastor. And so when you finish the mentorship program, you're going to get a certificate to actually show that you were mentored by him. So yeah, if I were you, I'll seize that opportunity. So we'll continue with our questions for today. Pastor, another question. President Buhari, there's been a delay in the release of the budget. And a lot of people are asking, how can a country function without a budget? Money is not coming in, money is not going out, people are stranded. And of course, a lot of parents and a lot of people have children abroad who are schooling, and it's been a very difficult time. What would you say about this? Is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? What do you think about it?
Everybody knows why it's taking so long. All Nigerians know why the budget, passing of the budget is taking so long. The budget was released at a record pace, but with a lot of malpractices, inside, with a lot of corruption, padded inside it. And even now, it is the president himself who had insisted that they pass it as fast as possible, now delaying it because he kept on finding discrepancies in the process. And who is to blame for that? Buhari doesn't have anything to do with that. It is the rotten system. Can you imagine you give work to people, workers, and nobody knows who has put some extra something there, figures. So you are making something for 6,000, let's say, $6,000 or $6 billion. And now some people have put other articles there so that the extra 100,000 will come to them, or 1 million will come to them, or 2 million will come to them, and it's all over. So should we just say, okay, let's make him pass, let him just pass. It doesn't matter who, all the passion and the padding and the corruption that is involved. He wants to clean the system. And part of cleaning the system, I just read an article yesterday of how the budgets were being passed during Jonathan, that all those corruption was always there, but nobody talks about them because everybody is gaining from it. How can the whole budget pass and nobody will gain from it? But here, now this one wants to get to the root of it, that no, we have to do things right. No padding, nobody will gain from this one. So even the last one time he sent it to the Senate or the Parliament, the Parliament themselves put something inside and so he has to say, but this one we didn't put it. How they come it is here. So, and who is in the Parliament? Everybody from every part of Nigeria. It is our representative that we voted in there. So let's ask them. They are our representatives. It's not just Buhari. It is the people who are doing the things behind the scene that should be blamed.
Wow. In other words, he's trying to clean the system.
Yes, that's what is happening.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor.
But many people don't get this understanding, unfortunately.
Wow.
And that's why we must help the government and give people more enlightenment in what is really going. But people just make noise in the news, and they don't explain to real people, ordinary people, why the delay.
Yes. Wow.
Okay, for example, let's talk about having children abroad. Right? Let's talk about why they cannot why is Buhari not allowing people to buy foreign currency? Again, Buhari, right? As if Buhari is just so wicked. He doesn't want you to pay for your children schooling abroad. But that's not the thing. Okay, let's say you have $1,000 as the whole foreign reserve of Nigeria. Right? And this $1,000, you have, it's not that you have your own dollar. Let's say you are a parent. And not that you have your own money in dollars that you want to send to your child and somebody is stopping you. You don't have your own dollar. The only thing, if you had your own dollar, you could be sending to your own children without any problem. Anybody could do that. But the only issue that we have is not that you cannot send money out. The only thing is that if you don't have dollar and you only have naira, and you want to go to the federal government that, okay, out of the reserve, the whole totality of dollars that the country as a whole has, okay, I need this amount to send to my son. So the government then has to decide what should we rather do right now? Should we use this money to buy fertilizer, or should we use it to buy medicine? Should we use it to build hospitals? Should we use it to do emergency something? Should we use it to pay salary, or we should just let it be used for other secondary or individual needs? Should we use it for the national need, something that affects the whole nation? For example, to buy equipment to do electricity, to fix electricity, NEPA, and so that everybody will get electricity? Or would you just let every individual that has children abroad to spend all the money. Then we will say, well, we don't have electricity or we don't have hospital, because it is the same foreign reserve that is needed to buy all these things. So when it is the general need of the country that is needed, same money is what we need to use to do it. Or individual privileged people who have children abroad that need it. So he's making a choice that let's use this foreign reserve for general needs that people are crying about. The whole Nigeria is crying about, not just your own children. So that is the little thing that we need to explain to people. It is not that you cannot send your own money. Let's say you make your own money in dollars anyhow, you work in a foreign company or as an expatriate, or you make money, you get your own dollar the way you want, send it. But if you want to go and ask government to change the one the government had for you, that is where the problem is.
Wow. Okay. It's getting clearer.
Yes.
Okay, it's doing a lot about Nigeria.
And a lot of people are watching us from everywhere.
Yes. But I hope somehow, this whole thing about Nigeria explains some situations for you too, going on in your own country. At least I think it's the same principle everywhere, kind of.
I don't know what the press secretaries and the, spokesmen of the government are doing. I hope they are doing their job, but I'm not sure people getting the explanation very well.
Yeah, it's very important what we put out there in the news. Okay, Pastor. So we'll go to other questions for today. I hope you've been having a great time, because I have been having an amazing time. Some things are actually explained. A young man wrote you, and he's asking, he's got these parents. His parents are fighting. They want to divide. They want to divorce. And he's done everything. They always have misunderstandings. He's given them books to read. And they are Christians as well, serious Christians. But it seems like the books is bought for them and all of that. It's not working. And this young man is actually in a state where he doesn't know what to do anymore. And he wants to save his parents' marriage. So he's asking you, Pastor, to please help him. Tell him what he can do, because he doesn't know.
What you need to do is that you need to ask yourself one question. Were you there when they came together? Did you play any role for them to be together in the first place? No, you came later on. So why do you think you are going to be able to play a role to keep them together? You are just a son. They are your parents. Tell them your opinion. Tell them that you don't like what is happening. Appeal to them if they could change their mind, or if they could stay together. But at the end of the day, the only thing you can do, trust God, ask God, pray to God, believe God, and just leave everything in His hands. And whatever happens, let God take care of your life, and God will take care of your parents one way or the other as well.
So he should just trust God for that. And,
Yes.
Thank you. Someone is asking that you were a journalist. That's what you studied in Belarus. But he's saying, why is it that you're not practicing? And what has journalism done for you? I mean, didn't you just waste your time?
No, I didn't. Journalism, not just journalism, anything you study in a higher institution, the purpose of higher education is not for you just to get a profession. That's just one aspect of it. The purpose of higher education is for you to get a discipline to cope with life, with the rigors and challenges of real life. So that is why you go through universities, institutes, and everything. So the greatest thing that my degree and my education in the university gave me is not the paper that says journalism. Because apart from journalism itself, there are so many other subjects that you need to study to become a journalist. We need to study literature. You need to study European literature, American literature, and many, many other things you need to study. The skills of speaking, critical thinking, logic, a lot of things, the act of asking questions, a lot of things, seeing details. All those things are needed on daily basis in other areas. So it doesn't matter what you study, with the skills and the discipline you go through to get there, to that diploma, changes you, changes your composition, it changes your character, changes your values. And that change that you go through in the 6 years in university, you will need it in any area, any sphere of life that you go to. You might not practice journalism, but the process of change and the discipline you acquire and the value you added to yourself in the process of becoming a journalist is what has made you who you are, and equipped you to be able to cope in any sphere of life where you find yourself. So I worked as a journalist myself, but later on I left journalism to do ministry because God called me to do ministry. But what I studied as a journalist, they're still helping me today. You will see that there is no pastor in the world that is as active as Pastor Sunday on social media, especially Facebook. That is the statistics of Facebook, it's not my statistics. And maybe it's also thanks to my journalism skills and training. And a lot of other things that this training itself has done for me, not the diploma, but the training.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor. Someone is asking and saying there are a lot of churches in Nigeria. And, talking about a lot of churches in Nigeria, one would think that since we have a lot of churches in Nigeria, things should be very good, because churches are places where you have, people are trained, Christians and all of that. But this person is saying, okay, yeah, so we have a lot of churches in Nigeria, but the corruption is still too high, in these churches and everywhere. What is your take on that?
Yes, the reason is because of the form of gospel that we preach in Nigeria. The gospel that is prevalent in Nigeria right now is the gospel of salvation. Just want to get people saved, and we want to keep them in church for as long as possible until they go to heaven. And that's just one side of the gospel. It's one-sided, the gospel that is being preached. We need to preach the gospel of the kingdom. The gospel of the kingdom is the second part of the gospel. It's like a coin with two faces. So the one face of the coin is the gospel of salvation. The other face of it is the gospel of the kingdom. The gospel of the kingdom is what allows you not just to get saved yourself, but to also bring that redemption to the area, to the environment around you, and to the land upon which you live. So we must, after you bring people in to experience salvation, you must then release them from the four walls of the church to go back to the places where they are coming from, to the surroundings around them, to their promised land, to now restore the glory that they collected in the church back to the land where they are coming from. So until we begin to teach that to our people, so people in our churches, they will never leave the pews, and they will never go to bring redemption to the creation. And all creation is waiting, eagerly waiting for the manifestation of the sons of men. It's waiting for people sitting in churches to be released, so that they will be revealed, the glory of the sons of God will be revealed to them, to bring about redemption of the environment. That is what the gospel of the kingdom is about. But we have not been preaching that so much in our country. And that's why there has been so much corruption, and not too much has changed in the environment and the society at large.
Wow. So in your own perspective, what's the way forward for Nigeria?
Somebody needs to begin to talk about the gospel of salvation. Somebody needs to begin to talk about the true mission of the church, the true purpose of the church. And somebody needs to begin to talk about what salvation means, and why we are Christians, and who a real Christian should be, and what he should do. So we need to change our mindset, our paradigm, and our worldview about Christianity. We need to bring a new form of Christianity that talks about the relevance of the church and the believer in the modern society. When we begin to have as many people as possible to propagate this and change the message we preach to people, then the people themselves will change, and later on they will go ahead and change the society they live in.
Wow. I just want you to comment a bit on this whole issue of Biafra.
Yes.
Because we have a lot of people, even some people are saying that it is the will of God probably for the Igbos to become stay on their own, and become the Biafran land. And a lot of people are actually gunning for that. What would you say? What's your comment about that?
Right now, Nigeria is the 7th largest country in the world. Right now, Nigeria is the 6th largest producer of agricultural products. Right now, Nigeria is one of the fastest growing economies in the world. By the year 2050, it's going to be actually the fastest growing economy in the world. Right now, Nigeria is recognized, and the whole world know Nigeria just because of our population, thanks to the fact that we have so many nations that have come together. Even Europe, where they have small countries, because they're divided over years, because of war and differences, and their languages are different, their culture are different. So in Europe, you have small countries. There are so many. Now they are all coming together to become one, because it's foolishness to be small and be alone. And then the same thing with America. They were small before, but they were just 13 states, but they expanded and got all the Spanish, territories together, from Mexico, from France, from everywhere, and got everything together and became the large country they are. Our largeness and our unity and our diversity is the biggest problem we have. Nobody would have been talking about Biafra, even about Igbos, if not because they are in Nigeria. For example, it would just be like one of the African countries. Togo, Cote d'Ivoire, Guinea Conakry, Burkina Faso. It's just be one of the small names, just another name added to it. But nobody is talking about it. But when you are vast and big and diverse and 200 million almost like Nigeria, you cannot be neglected. But when you are so small, egoism doesn't enlarge, it kills. It's just like, I think it's a form of growth process. When a child is growing, first of all, it depends on his parents, on a mother, to be fed, to be told what to do. Then when he gets to the age of adolescence, he wants to be independent and say, no, I'm now on my own. I know how to do things, but I don't need anybody. I'm the one, I know. But later on, when he gets to maturity and old age, he comes back. He wants the family to be together. He wants to marry. He wants to form a family. He wants to be around people. Then, at his very old age, all the children are gone. He's now begging them to come back and anything like that. That's just the process of growth. So I think Nigeria is going through that process, and what Biafra is experiencing might be it's a feeling of the fact that if we had been alone, we would have been better off. But my own thinking is, what is disturbing you now for being better off? Nobody is, not a Yoruba man is ruling you in your state, not an Hausa man is ruling you in your state, not a Benin man is ruling your state. Any allocation from the federal government. Right now, even with allocation, some of them cannot pay their salary. They cannot even survive. What about what will happen without allocation? So all of us have been blessed just because we are together. And it's not just because of the oil from Delta. There are other products and other revenue coming from other areas of the country also. And the oil is going to dry up soon. And other things are in other places. And we are still dividing it among ourselves. And it's helping all of us. So I think unity is always better than divisiveness.
And then the beauty of diversity, as you just mentioned. I have
a whole article about that. A whole article about that.
Wow, thank you, Pastor. Pastor, why did God allow increase in population despite sins in the world?
God has set out a system from the very beginning in creation. He set up, when God created man, He set a process of multiplication in man. So it is not God that is allowing increase in population. In Europe, for example, there is no increase in population. They are actually going down. So it is men who decide either they are going to be increase in population or no increase in population. If men don't sleep with each other, there will be no increase in population. But if they begin to sleep anyhow they want and they don't control it, there will be increase in population. So leave God out of this question. This is a question of flesh and blood. There is no marriage or anything in heaven. This is our own question. Leave God down. He has set it out and He's giving us our right to decide on that.
Talking about system, God putting system in place and then things are working and all of that. What role do you think system has to play in national transformation?
The whole thing about us is system. The whole universe is a system that God, because because the whole universe is a system, that's why God doesn't need to say, oh, I forgot to put on the sun this morning or this afternoon. Oh, sorry, you are still in darkness. Oh, wow, how did that happen? I forgot, I overslept. No, He doesn't even need to think about sun anymore. He has put it as a system that automatically produces results. The same with moon, the same with oxygen that we're breathing. Everything is system. Automatically they work together as one. So if we want to be effective in whatever we do, we must learn from God. And we must learn to begin to do everything we do as a system as well, to make them automatic, to reproduce automatic, and to be able to produce predictably. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Pastor. This wonderful woman is asking a beautiful question. She wants to support her husband in ministry, and then she's asking you, what book should they read to support their husband in ministry for women like that?
Well, I think that there are a lot of books out there, especially if you go to Amazon, written by pastors' wives or pastors how to support their ministry. I can't remember anyone right now, but I think it's a good idea that you asked that question, because I might come back and write a book on it myself. How wives could support their husband. That's a good title. Thank you for asking that question. My wife has written a number of books as well. You could go to Amazon and put Sunday Adelaja, and you'll be able to see the list of our books as well.
Wow. Thank you, Pastor. The next question is, in places where revival is not valued as much, supernatural, someone says like in Africa, I don't really know about that.
Like in Africa, unlike Africa, I think that's what
the person like in Africa, he's saying that.
It's not valued like in Africa, yes.
Supernatural encounter and all of that. But I thought it was valued in Africa.
Yeah, like in Africa, it's not valued. In places where it is not valued like Africa.
I get it, yes. So the person is asking, what are the other ways to bring about revival in such environments? Yes,
there are many ways to bring about revival, because in every society there are needs that are crushing them. For example, in Europe, what I've discovered is that apart from physical miracles, emphasis are not placed on physical miracles so much, but people have pain. Other pains, other challenges. People struggle with depression. So address the question of depression, and it's going to reach out to somebody. People have issues in families. Address the issues, family issues. How to find a wife, how to find a husband, how to be together, how not to divorce, how to settle conflicts in the homes, how to raise up godly children. And many, many things that people struggle with are things that you need to talk about. When you begin to meet people's needs, then you have followers.
Wow. Thank you. When God says someone is set apart for ministry, what does that mean?
It means all of us are supposed to be set apart for ministry, by the way. It means that you experience God's salvation and you are grateful to God for what he has done for you, that he died for you, he redeemed you of your sin, he washed you with his blood. And
a little bit, but I think you should just throw more light on it, just for, someone is asking, you said, okay, not to judge people and all of that. So he's saying, if I catch somebody stealing, person just stole, person is a thief, how do I actually say, I'm not happy about what you did, you just stole, without appearing like I'm judging and all of that?
Yeah, that's what we had said before. If you catch somebody stealing, just tell him that I've seen you stealing, you are stealing. Is there any reason for this? Do you realize what has happened? The person could say, yes, I've realized what has happened, I'm sorry. Then you take the person to court and to the disciplinary measure that he needs to go through, and let the law take its course. But if you are judging, it means you are actually putting him down. You are making him feel horrible about himself. You are letting him know that you are better than him. And you are making him feel less a human being because of what he has done. And so that's what we're talking about. Give people, let people realize what has happened, but with an attitude of redemption and forgiveness and mercy, rather than judgment or attitude.
Wow, thank you. We recently, because we actually having a lot of questions coming from Nigeria today. Nigerians are actually asking a lot of questions today. So anyway, we just ask them.
Maybe you want to ask where other people are from.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just send us in where you're actually watching us from and all of that. But I think many Nigerians are passionate today about some things going on.
At least we could acknowledge where other people are watching from. So we could at least mention their places so they know they are not forgotten.
Yes, yeah. So towards the end of the show, we'll definitely do that.
That is only if you send us with your name or where you are watching us from.
Exactly. Recently, we have Governor Erufai of Kaduna State, if I'm correct. He actually passed a bill saying that preachers are supposed to be licensed before they can actually preach or do. I don't really have the details. And a particular man of God in Nigeria, Apostle Johnson Suleiman, responded to him. And one of your fans,
I think the motivation behind that bill should be the desire to sanitize the city or the state and to bring about law and order. That's what I'm thinking, and that's what I believe should be the motivation. I don't think the man has any ulterior motive to victimize Christians. But on the other hand, Pastor Suleiman is a friend, And I think he is thinking that these people are actually out to victimize Christians. Even though Pastor Suleiman Johnson, or Johnson Suleiman, is my friend and is a colleague as a minister, I would like to say that this time I take the side of the governor. I would rather support El-Rufai's position to sanctify or to sanitize, and to bring order to the society. If it is now seen as being discriminative or biased against Christians, there are rules and there are laws in the society, in the country. Let's get our lawyers together who are Christians, and let's go to the court of law. Let's go to the court of law to file our appeal or our disapproval with his bill, and let's fight it in a civilized way. But when we begin to make pronouncements openly like that, it could bring a lot of controversies and misunderstanding.
Wow, there are better ways to go about it.
Yes.
Thank you, Pastor. What is your view on deaconship in today's churches? Was it a one-time affair in the Acts of the Apostle, or is it a practice every church can emulate?
Yeah, well, it depends. Every church is different, and people could incorporate different styles of leadership in their churches as they wish and see it appropriate. So I would not say either it is wrong or right. I know it is available. It was present in the Bible, and if it had a place in the Bible, I think it is understandable why people will practice the same in today as well. So I don't see any problem with that.
Thank you.
People might practice deaconship, and people might not practice deaconship. I think we should give them the liberty to decide.
Thank you, Pastor. Do you think a black Christian guy who is living in Europe, do you think it's right for him to only seek for a white wife? It's asking.
If it's right or not, I cannot say if it is right for him or not, because it depends on his taste, it depends on his desire, it depends on what he wants. You cannot decide for another man what is right for him and what is wrong for him. I think the only reason why I see that as being understandable when you live in Europe and you want to marry a European girl is that is the majority of people you see around. You don't get to see too many black people, I think, and that's why most people want to end up marrying white people. But, is it right or wrong? I don't think so. Everybody have their decision to take.
Wow. Thank you. What is your take on the transgender bathroom issue in the U.S. right now?
Bathroom?
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that some states are allowing, or some companies are allowing transgenders or people of opposite sex to use the bathroom or restroom that belongs to the other sex. I think that is part of the abnormality that has come to our world. It is very unfortunate, and it is very sad that should happen. I hope that the U.S. government will rethink that law and reverse it, and let men use men's bathroom and women to use women's bathroom.
So what would you do if some people in your country are lobbying to actually get LGBT legalized in your country?
Very good. The people, the gay people who are lobbying to get that done, I commend them. They are doing their job. They are hardworking. We just need to find Christians as well to be hardworking, and we need to mobilize Christians, who might be more in number than the gay people, and get them organized, and we'll do the hard work, and also do our own lobbying and get a better results. Why should you blame other people for putting in efforts to get the agenda when you are not doing anything to pass your agenda? So I think we should not just be crying foul and be criticizing. We should get ourselves together and do hard work the way they have done their hard work.
Wow. So if you were in Nigeria, for example, and this kind of thing wants to start happening, would you take it up? Or?
Yes, just like I've done in Ukraine as well.
Wow. What do you do in a situation where people take your kindness for granted as weakness? You know, you're kind and people are taking it for weakness, as a weakness.
Continue to be kind.
I mean, there are times when people like drive you to the wall. Like, I mean, I know some wisdom or some principles you need to apply as a human being to make sure that, you know, you can't say yes all the time. You know?
Yes, as a human being, you have to continue to be kind and loving. But the people who have abused your kindness and love, you just need to put some gap between you and them. Not to the same person, but to all of that person, you keep on being kind and loving.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Pastor. Okay, tell us about the gifts of the Spirit and the benefits.
For example, somebody is there right now that is having a growth in the head, a lump in the head. You need an operation to remove some growth in your head and inside your head, and God, because it's causing headache, and so that's a tragedy. But that's a gift of the Spirit that allows me to know that the person is having that problem. And when I pray right now, God is going to make that lump or growth disappear, or is going to make that operation successful. So in the name of Jesus, we pray for supernatural intervention. And that's a simple example of how and why gifts of the Spirit is necessary. And there is another person that is having problem in his thigh or lap of the left leg. It's like I'm seeing either you broke your leg or something. It's like the bone is broken or the muscles are totally weakened. So whatever that problem is in your left leg, God is healing you right now in Jesus' name. Another person that is having stress, God is healing you as well, and pressure, be healed in Jesus' name. So that's just one of the manifestation of the gift of Spirit. But it doesn't have to be healing alone. You have gifts of Spirit that has to do with prophecy, word of wisdom, word of knowledge. You have gift of Spirit that has to do with faith, healing, and, you know, the power of God, and, you know, other things that God does supernaturally, because we're all limited. Because of our limitedness as humans, we need God's intervention sometimes. That's why we need the gifts of the Holy Spirit.
Wow, amen. Thank you, Pastor. We actually have a minute to the end of the show. Please, I want you to just tell us where you're actually watching from. Pastor would like to know. And also, I hope you've had an awesome time. We have a lot of questions that have not been answered yet, but we actually promised to answer them next week Saturday. So many questions coming in, and it's just been wonderful. Remember to send your questions to pastor@sundayadelajablog.com. And also,
is it pastor at?
Yes, okay. At sundayadelajablog.com. And also, remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. I realize that some of you have not subscribed. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Sunday Adelaja Official. And also follow us on Facebook, Pastor Sunday Adelaja. And Twitter @pastor_official, Instagram @Sunday Adelaja. And also, if you want to be a part of Pastor's mentorship program, go to www.sundayadelajablog.com/mentorship and become Pastor's mentee.
SundayAdelajablog.com, right?
Yeah, SundayAdelajablog.com. So you can become Pastor's mentee. And remember, at the end of the mentorship program, you're going to actually get a certificate. And so I'll have Pastor pray for you again today. And
you wanted to tell them where they're coming from. You don't have that.
Yes. I forgot about that.
I already prayed. You just prayed now in the Spirit.
Okay, so we're not praying again. All right.
Someone is having problem with his tongue. Maybe he's not feeling taste or something, or he has wound in that tongue. God is healing that person. A man that is washing has an issue with his private part. God is healing him as well.
Amen.
Yes.
We have people watching us from Ireland, Norway, Nigeria, Edinburgh, Brazil, Texas, the UK, and so many other places. So we've come to the end of our show today. I hope you had an awesome time, because I had a wonderful time presenting today. It's been amazing, and we've gotten a lot of knowledge about certain things happening in the world and in our personal lives. Thank you so much. Thank you, Pastor, for being part of the show and answering our questions as always. And thank you.
Thank you.
And see you again next week Saturday. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend. Your presenter, Amara Machiko. Bye.
Bye.